There was an era where being Player 2 meant that you had to use the Cheeto-dusted, sugar-crusted, pizza grease-coated controller with broken thumbsticks. But with their Player 2 PC, is NZXT flipping the narrative on what's possible for all of our Luigi mains out there? We're about to find out right here, right now on Robeytech, after some buttery smooth words from our sponsors, us.
This video is brought to you by our official Robeytech build mat. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll probably recognize it. We love these things. They're super thick and durable, and they're absolutely huge in size, measuring at 5.5 millimeters thick and 24 by 48 inches wide. This one that we have right here, man, this has been in the studio for like 4 years, and it's still holding up great, no problem. We've also included all sorts of useful graphics showing different PC form factor sizes, including schematic diagrams and connectors you'll encounter probably during your PC build. Not to mention, there's plenty of open space for screw and tool organization. We designed it like this so no matter what skill level of builder you are, it could be a helpful tool for pretty much everyone. Now, you can find these build mats for sale on our Newegg store, and it's a great way to support us directly if you enjoy the content we make. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get back to the video.
Hey guys, Damien here, filling in for Robey while he is in Alaska communing with seals. It'd be an understatement to say that we've covered a bunch of NZXT's products on this channel. We've been building with their iconic cases, their AiOs, their PSUs, and we've even used their build kits to introduce PC buildings to some of our loved ones. We've even live streamed from their booth at Computex, which included a history lesson from their founder. So PC DIY is one thing, but with NZXT's Player 2 PC, we get the opportunity to see their vision for how they use their parts. So we're going to share our discoveries with the build, talk a bit about performance, and share something surprising that we discovered while researching this product. As we get started, we do want to say thank you to NZXT for working with us to make sure that this could be a blind review of the Player 2 PC. So if you wanted to find this PC, where would you start and how easy or overwhelming was the buying process? Well, to be honest, the process was super smooth thanks to the layout of NZXT's website. If you go to nzxt.com, you'll find a tab for gaming PCs, and here you'll find options for 3 categories of systems. The Player 1, which is NZXT's entry level for 1080p gamers, the Player 3, the system for 4K gamers who like to crank things up to 11, and the Player 2 PC, which strikes a balance between the two as their middle ground offering. Once you select a PC, you'll have a couple of options to choose from. And for us, since we're choosing the Player 2 PC, the pricing starts at around $1,800 and goes all the way up to $2,600 with their decked out Player 2 Prime PC. As far as customization options go for the Player 2 PC, you have 2 main choices. For CPU, you can choose either the Ryzen 5 7600X or the Ryzen 7 9700X. And for RAM, you have the choice between 16 or 32 gigabytes. As for the Player 2 Prime, there are a few other options there. You can choose between the Ryzen 7 9700X or the 9800X 3D. You can choose between 32 or 64 gigabytes of RAM and either 2 or 4 terabytes worth of storage. It's also worth mentioning that the jump from the Player 2 to the Player 2 Prime bumps the GPU up from the RTX 5070 to the RTX 5070 Ti. If you scroll down the product page, you'll also see more about the specs of this system, including a 240mm Kraken AiO, B650 motherboard, a 750 watt gold power supply, and H7 flow. That all of this is wrapped up inside. You'll also find gaming benchmarks listed, which is pretty neat if the games you're looking to play are listed. The Player 2 PC we're looking at today retails for around $2,000 and lives at the higher end of the Player 2 family. As for what's inside, we have a Ryzen 7 9700X, RTX 5070, 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and a 1TB NVMe SSD. What's also awesome to see was that once we finished the checkout process, NZXT was very communicative about what was next. They sent us updates on our PC as it was being shipped, and they even sent over a whole email that was filled with helpful tips on how to get started once it arrived. Now, there is a bit of a controversial element in the room here as you're looking at the buy button, and it's the rent/subscribe button that's right next to it. NZXT does offer their Flex program for people in situations where outright buying a PC is not in the cards. Understand that everyone's situations are different and that this might be a short-term boon to some, but in the long term, it's always going to be cheaper to own than to rent. understand fully what you're getting yourself into if you look at this, and grasp the cost over time. They've made some changes to the program, but ultimately, please, please, please do your research first. All right, so up to this point, first impressions of the process have been solid, but what about first impressions of the PC itself? As for the packaging, NZXT ships their pre-builts in a nondescript cardboard box, which is a decent deterrent to potential porch pirates. And the PC is sandwiched in between two giant premium foam cushions. So as long as you're careful with removing these from the box, you should be able to reuse them if you need to pack your PC up again. What's also great is that they held the GPU into place with cardboard and stiff foam to keep it secure during shipping. So gold stars there. There's also an accessories box inside with extra AiO and case hardware, extra PSU cables, and Wi-Fi antenna. Once we had it unboxed, everything looked and felt secure inside the system. As for the cable management, we'd give it a passable grade. They made some choices that we may not have, but that doesn't mean that they're wrong or bad choices. They're just different choices, that's all. But what about gaming performance? NZXT lists this as a 1440p machine, but they actually give metrics for both 1080p and 4K as well. This is super handy if you're wondering what's what here. We ran a few of our own tests, but since NZXT doesn't have the exact settings listed for their benchmarks other than at ultra settings, it's hard to draw a full comparison here. Now, the one thing that we did notice is that both AMD's Precision Boost Overdrive, or PBO, and Expo were off out of the box. So it's possible that some of our performance was left on the table since we tested it as is. As far as thermals go, we already knew that the NZXT H7 Flow was going to be a solid performer because we reviewed it here, and it's a beast when it comes to cooling. We saw an average of 57 degrees Celsius during our gaming tests on the CPU and around 63 degrees Celsius on our GPU. When we put it under full CPU load, we saw it average at 65 while pulling a Cinebench score of 21,158. Again, conservative numbers, but not troubling. So we have good gaming performance, good build quality, and a solid buying experience, but what if you wanted to multitask with this system? What if you're someone who's looking at the Player 2 for fueling your creativity? Well, if we look at Puget Systems Adobe Creators benchmark, we see some decent averages across the board. And as you're looking at the charts here and thinking, how the heck is this thing so much better at Premiere than the other two applications? Calm down, it's okay. Puget Systems is still working on their scoring here, so for now, just know that the Player 2 system does all right for itself and is capable of helping aspiring creatives. Overall, our experiences with NZXT's 2025 Player 2 system has been positive, but there are a few questions that come up anytime we talk about pre-built systems, especially where all of the components are available at places like Amazon, Newegg, or Micro Center if you are lucky enough to live near one. And those questions are, what is the cost difference between buying this system from NZXT and what do I get for that money that I wouldn't otherwise get with PC DIY? For starters, let's talk about overhead. When we look at the price of this part for part, our system landed at around $1,530. So there is a $400+ differential here. Now, keep in mind, this number doesn't factor in the costs of a Windows activation key, taxes, or shipping costs. And it also doesn't factor in one of the biggest selling points of buying a PC versus building one. A warranty, which depending on who you are, that might make up the difference. So what does NZXT offer? NZXT offers a 2-year warranty that covers damage in shipping, defects that arise within a 2-year period, and any issues caused by improper assembly. It's worth noting that this warranty does not cover any replaced or upgraded parts, any physical mods that you make, like case swaps, drilling or cutting holes, or gluing add-ons, so no bedazzling. And it doesn't cover any issues caused by overclocking or undervolting, with the exception of XMP or Expo. What is very interesting though, and I'm not sure that I've seen this elsewhere, is that NZXT offers an FPS guarantee. According to them, this is their words, if your Player 2 PC is performing within 10% of the gaming metrics that they've posted, they will either repair or replace the machine at their discretion, of course. Okay, so we've covered a broad amount of ground with this pre-built system, but let's bring it all together to figure out who this PC would be a good fit for and what things you might want to know before buying one. The Player 2 covers a spectrum of users. At the entry point, it's a solid 1440p system with some room to grow with the user, whether that's growth into content creation, growth in your Steam library, or growth in its ability to be expanded. At the top end, which is what we've been looking at here today, you have a solid middle ground between the budget-conscious and the enthusiast-level PCs. To me, that gamer looks like the type of person that's on that professional or family-building grind that wants to pull up to a cinematic title during their me time. It's for that gamer that doesn't have time to build or troubleshoot their own rig, but still wants to own lobbies with performance that they can depend on. While that performance does come at a couple $100 premium, ultimately, that person would need to decide whether that overhead is worth the extra upfront cost. That being said, when you start to factor in Windows license and the cost of shipping the PC to you, which is an expensive thing if you've ever shipped a PC, that delta ends up being maybe $100. So again, everybody values different things, so this could all be moot to you. But overall, we were impressed by the experience. From their website, to the buying experience, to the packaging, to the product that we were delivered, everything carried a little bit of NZXT's attention to detail and their philosophy that everyone can be a PC gamer, including the Player 2s like me. And there you have it, NZXT's Player 2 PC. We do want to say thank you to NZXT for working with us to make sure that this was truly a blind PC review here for you today. But we want to know what you think about it. What do you think about the Player 2 PC? What's something that stands out to you about the specs, the build quality, or even the aesthetic? And if you have one of NZXT's Player 2 PCs, what have been your experiences like with it? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're down there, if you'd go ahead and slap that subscribe button, whip that like button, and ring that notification bell so that you get a notification each and every time we post a video like this one right here on Robeytech. And if you want to continue the conversation, talk about the questions that we ask in this video, or ask questions of your own, head over to our Discord. That's discord.gg/Robeytech, an amazing place to talk to other PC and tech enthusiasts about stuff like this. And hey, you know what? While you're there, you might just make a friend and you might just see this guy there too. Also, make sure you follow us on Robeytech at all of your favorite social media platforms. And since you made it this far in the video, I want to say a huge thank you to you for sticking with me through this one, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.